Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Prepare to Slay the Dragon webinar. I'm Danielle McCarthy, the Marketing and Events Coordinator here at the GCA, and have the pleasure of organising Dragon Speed Dating event, which is taking place on Monday, the 16th of March at the Business Design Centre. Thank you for joining us today. We're really excited to help you feel confident and fully prepared for the big day. Today, we're going to walk through what to expect from Dragon Speed Dating, including retailer insights, how the dating works, timings, panel, and how to prepare your pitch. We've got a lineup of great speakers guiding you through the session, and I'll be handing over as we go. To kick things off, I'm delighted to hand over to one of our dragons, Sarah Laker from Stationery Supplies. Sarah will be sharing what retailers are looking for, how to best make the best impression in your 10-minute pitch, and tips to help you on the day. So Sarah, if I could hand over to you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. There's some familiar faces there. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sarah, and nearly 21 years ago, I left behind a career in nursing to follow my dream of owning a shop. I now own two stationery shops where we sell stationery, greetings cards, and gifts. So I totally understand the journey that you're all on. I've been there following my dream and following my passion. And what I want you to remember as I run through what I'm looking for as a retailer is that we're all on your side and we want you to succeed. And all it might sound a little bit daunting when I throw at you 21 years of experience of buying cards, but I just want you to try and understand how we look at things as a retailer. So jumping right in. I'm going to be throwing a lot of information at you. It might not all seem relevant for dragons, but it really will be an insight. Don't be daunted. A lot of this you've probably already done. And I want you to use it as kind of as a learning tool, the dragons. You need to kind of soak up the experience of all those buyers that you're going to meet. Um, the most important thing that I'm looking for and what will catch my eye and what will ultimately catch my customers' eyes will be the design of your cards. That is fundamental to everything that we do. And then I look at the board and then I look at the envelope. So I'm looking for unique designs to fill a gap in my shop, something that might follow a trend or be the first of its kind. Um, and to take on that design, I must take another range out of my shop. And that's quite an important thing to understand. We don't have unlimited space within our shops. We've only got a certain amount of space and a certain amount of footage, meterage for our cards. So we're always looking to keep current, keep up to date, keep up with trends, and keep the shops looking fresh. The cards need to look good on a shelf or a spinner. So I'm looking for a card design that uses all of the card front. If you're putting your design or your wording at the bottom, my traditional racking, you won't see that. A lot of shops have full frontal racking these days, so they see the whole of the design. But in a shop like mine that's more traditional, when the cards are stacked against each other, you only see part of the design. And if your wording is at the bottom, it's not very often seen. I also don't want awkward sizes or cards that need explaining to the customer. When the customer looks at that card, it needs to be easy for them to understand and easy for them to see how that is going to look on a mantelpiece or when they send it to their loved one. I'm also looking for a backstory. I like to work with people. I feel it's a partnership between a retailer and a supplier. So I like to know who you are, where you're based, where the card's made, what's the story behind it, what made you design that range, what made you become a card designer, where have you come from, how long have you been doing it, where are you stocked. Um, the back of the card is really important. We'll come on to that shortly. Codes are important. Sometimes new designers don't realise the importance of having each card having its own separate code. That's ideal for your invoicing and for when we're reordering. Some shops need barcodes, some shops don't need barcodes. That's another important thing to consider. Looking at your FSC credentials, your eco, your sustainability, whether your cards are recyclable, what your envelopes look like. Never underestimate the envelope. I've been known to not buy cards after seeing that the envelopes are the poor quality. You can have the loveliest card in the world, but the first thing that the receiver sees when they get that card is the envelope, and that envelope is important. To sell to me, you need to know your product. You need to know where you sit in the marketplace, who your competition is, your price points. where you are you traditional, are you sentiment, contemporary, funny? For example, if you're selling children's cards, consider how many cards parents buy a year for children's parties and don't outprice yourself. And one of the most important things I think for anybody in business is that you won't be for everyone and everyone won't be for you. Never take it personally. You will find your people, we all do. It isn't an easy thing to take on board. I feel that, when we're in our own business, we're very passionate about it. We put our heart and soul into whatever we're doing, whether it be my shop, whether it be your card ranges. And if somebody doesn't like it, it can be really feel quite personal, but it isn't personal at all. I mean, you might go into Marks and Spencer's to buy a new dress. You might only like one dress out of 50, and that's just a personal choice, and that's something that we all need to remember, and it is hard at times to remember that. There will be over 70 publishers attending Dragons and sending samples. I might only choose one or two to buy from. And that might not be right away. Sometimes I go away and think about it. I've already just done a massive, I probably did 6 or 7 card orders when I was at Top Drawer. I'll be placing more when I go to Spring Fair next weekend. So if I am buying cards, it might not be for a few months. It might be 6 months, it might be a year. I might follow your progress. I might check up on you at PG. I might look, see if you've entered the Henrys. All those things are important to me to see where you're going within your journey. I think you need to think about what kind of shops your cards will fit in, visit shops, look at displays and how your ranges will be displayed and how they will fit into shops. So my shop, for example, we're not a traditional shop. We take very quirky niche cards. We don't do sentiment. So if you're writing cards with beautiful love poems in, they're not going to be for me. So you will know your USP, you will know your niche. You also know your future. You know if your ranges are going to stay relevant. Can you adapt to it? Can you change it? Has it got longevity? I'm looking for a publisher I can work with for years. Have you planned future ranges? This might not all be for now, but it's something just to have there mulling away in the back of your mind where you're going. And you also know your competition. Sorry, just so quick, I'm getting a bit dry. I once went to a trade fair. It wasn't greetings card, it was a new stationery publisher. And they were at the trade fair and they had no idea of minimum orders. They had no idea of how they were going to fulfill anything. They'd come up with this lovely range of products and just gone to a trade fair and had absolutely no idea what they were doing. They didn't even have a pen and paper with them to take down leads. So I think it's really important to know what you're doing, to know your minimum order values, to know your price points of your cards, to know to understand, I think that if you've got a range of, say, 12 cards, I will only cherry pick the ones that I like. I won't buy all 12. So if your minimum order isn't realistic, say you've got 15 cards in a range and your minimum order is 15 cards, that's going to be really hard for me to achieve because I won't want to buy all 15, if that makes sense. I've probably not explained that very well, but feel free to ask me questions afterwards. Think about how your cards are presented, whether they're naked or whether they're wrapped. If they're cello wrapped and they're compostable, biodegradable, or recyclable, make sure that people understand that. No one solution is going to suit everybody. Personally, I can't stand card clasps. I've had more stock damage from card clasps than I have from cards being naked. Is your first order going to be pro forma? I'd suggest that it would be pro forma, but that's something to consider as well. And make sure that your invoicing is clear, that you list your cards and you use your code so that when I get the invoice, I can easily match the cards that you've sent me to the invoice. A lot of indies will talk to you about exclusivity, and that's something to consider before you come to Dragons as well. You want to be unique. You want to be the only person in your town or in your area or on your street that sells a particular type of cards. So it's quite important to feel where you sit on that, whether you want to be available for everybody and be in all over the place, or whether you do want to be a little bit more exclusive. You need a strategy for how you're going to deal with damaged cards from delivery or shortages, and thought about your delivery and your costs. And make sure that you understand VAT and margins. I think the industry standard is 2.4 markup on the cards. Talking about delivery, this is really important. Imagine that your box that you send it on has got 6 sides. It's never going to stay the same way up the whole journey from your house, your warehouse, your office to my shop. It's going to be used like a football by those couriers. Make sure those cards are really protected within that box. So, oh, sorry, I've lost my place now. I've waffled on and not quite followed my plan. I'm sorry, that's me all over. After the dragons, stay in touch with me. I don't want to hear with you every day or even every week, but I do want you to keep in touch. I don't know about your new designs if you don't tell me about them. Emails are great, physical catalogues are great. If you put card samples on, and this is also applies to when you do your samples for the dragons, make sure that the cards you give me are the finished article. I want to see how they're going to look when I give them to my customers. So don't just give me the cards on their own. I want to see the envelopes too. If they've got a card clasp or they're cello wrapped, bring at least one card that shows me the finished article. And when you're packaging your samples, and the samples is one of the most exciting bits for me as a dragon, I love sitting at home on my living room floor and investigating that bag of samples. My daughters, who are both in their 20s, will sit with me and do it, and we unwrap and we look at it. So if there's something a little bit, there's not a lot of room in that bag and they're quite heavy. And remember that I come on the train from Manchester, I've got to carry it all back with me. So don't go mad. Um, but if you can make your little package stand out, if there's a little treat in it, a little something a bit exciting, something that makes you stand out from the crowd and makes me look at your cards, that's great, and I love it. And it is one of the most exciting things about dragons. I mean, I do love the day; the whole day is amazing. But taking that bag of samples home and going through it, and then I make a possible pile and a maybe pile and a no pile and a definitely pile. Um, so yeah, we've done that. And what was I talking about? The emails. I went off target then again, didn't I? So yeah, so when you send, if you're keeping in touch with me and you're sending me samples through the post, make sure that they're ready to sell so that I can then use it. It also cuts down on waste. If you just send me cards, they're just going to go in the recycling. If you send me a card with an envelope, I'm going to put them on my shelves and try them and see if my customers like them and talk to people about them. And again, when you're sending that package to me through the post, if you want me to look at something, make it exciting for me. Um, I'm always happy to have a tea bag and a Kit Kat in it to make a brew and have a Kit Kat while I'm looking at your cards. Also, keep an eye on your social media. If I tag you in a post, we're in this together. Comment, share, like that post, and that helps us all. Helps brand exposure, helps me get more customers. And consider entering the Henrys too. It's great for industry awareness, but also the buyers are doing the judging, and people do look at the finalists. They do look who's entered, and they will look and see what's happening, what's new. So I'm just going to wind it up now. Sorry, I've waffled on for quite a while. I sell about 15,000 cards a year alongside my stationery gifts. I deal with over 70 suppliers over 2 shops. So connect with me, give me a reason to buy from you. And remember that when I'm buying, make it easy for me. A lot of shops don't have a computer in the shop. They might not look at their phone all day long. So if you're emailing people and you're wondering why they've not replied to you, just bear that in mind that a lot of people during their day-to-day life are actually busy in their shop serving customers and they don't have that chance to check on emails and to check on their phone. They might do it in an evening, they might do it over the weekend. So remember that there's always different ways to attack people and to contact with them. Um, Also, this is if you've got what I call the faff factor, if you're really difficult to deal with, and I don't find buying from you easy, I won't buy from you because, again, I'm busy and I don't have the time. And the faff factor is massive in my buying journey. So, quick recap for the dragons. Introduce yourself when you meet me and your cards. Your backstory is really important to me. I want to know the person behind the brand and where you've come from. Be clear with your price points, minimum order quantities, and how to buy from you. And show your cards as we're going to receive them. Bring as many as you can carry with you. You've got 10 minutes, I think. Is it 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I can look through a lot of cards in 10 minutes, have them arranged in ranges, maybe in a box. I can just flick through the box as you're talking to me, but give me chance to have a really good look at all of your cards. And when packaging your samples for the goodie bags that we're going to take home with us, just remember to pack them as we're going to look at them, to include your envelopes and to make that stand out for me and to make me go ooh when I open your little package. And last of all, good luck everybody. I hope you have a great day. I'm really excited to be going there and to seeing what you're going to show me. And always remember, you aren't for everyone and everyone isn't for you. Thank you.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. And now we're going to hand over to Amanda, who's going to talk us through how the dating works on the day. So if we can hand over to you, Amanda.
Thank you. Yes. Hello, everyone, and thank you, Sarah. That was brilliant. And Sarah's actually also wrote a while ago a blog for us on what buyers are looking for, which we'll share after this as well, because lots and lots of useful information. Just to pick up on a couple of points that Sarah's made. Sarah mentioned barcodes. As she said, some buyers will want them, some won't. Do your research on all of this. There is a blog in the members library on barcodes, tells you where to get them from, how to get them if you need them. Now, you may well not need them yet, but you need to be prepared for a buyer to ask you about them, and you can then demonstrate that you know what you've got to do if you know it's needed. Sarah also mentioned envelopes, really important. And if you know, I would direct you, if you are still starting out, you know, do look at our suppliers directory. We've got several envelope manufacturers there, and same with printers. All our suppliers are recommended by other members. So they're all specialists in our industry, and they understand cards, they understand, you know, what's needed. So do look there. I thought, Sarah, your point about the journey and wanting to trade with people for a long term was really interesting. And I think, you know, that's quite an important thing to remember. You know, buyers, and I know when I was selling many years ago at Hallmark and Caroline Gardner, you know, I think it was 2.5 years I chased one particular account I really, really wanted. But when we got there, it was great, you know, and it is that thing of the buyer wanting to watch where you as a business are going on your journey, because long-term relationships are what everyone's after. So if there are any other bits and pieces, we can pick up questions in the chat or at the end. I'll just run through how the day works, and then I'm going to hand over to Jackie, who has actually been at every single Dragons and launched it with my predecessor. So anything I miss, Jackie will be able to pick up. So how does the day work? When you arrive, there's come in plenty of time. Once you've checked in and got your badge, you can put your samples in the goodie bags first and foremost. And as Sarah said, do please stick to 3 cards, and obviously a business card, or you know, but these buyers have got to carry them home, so no sort of cardboard boxes or you know, lots of bits added on, because they just won't be able to take them, they'll get left. So that's really important. So get there, do that, and then go and have a coffee, because so much of the day is about networking. It's about chatting to other people, not just the buyers, but the other publishers and our panel members. And Karen will talk a bit more about the council and the panel members who are going to be there. There's lots of people there that will be able to, you know, both give you advice, but also interesting to meet and chat with. So do make the most of all those networking opportunities. Once we get going, we will be, the publishers, the 72 publishers, will be divided into 2 groups of 36. One group, and it'll all be very clear. You'll have a dot on your badge, and you'll be clear which group you're in. One group will go with Karen and to meet our panel, and the other group of 36 will be divided into groups of 6 groups of 6. So you will be sitting in a semicircle with 5 other publishers, and that will be your group that you will be dating with. So it'll be a nice opportunity again to meet some new publishers, chat. The dating will then kick off with basically the buyers are in 3. We've got 3 groups of buyers, and they will be brought over to you. You'll have a group of 6 buyers will come towards your group. You'll hold your cards up. They'll choose who they want to see, and the dating will begin. After the 10 minutes, you'll come back and sit down, and you have 10 minutes break to write up any notes, have a bit of a chat with your neighbours while the next team to you are dating. And then after their 10 minutes, you'll be back on with the second group of buyers. Now, you may find that you end up talking to someone you already trade with, or you may find you get picked by Tesco's and you don't want to deal with Tesco's yet. Use those meetings as opportunities to ask questions. If you're meeting somebody you're already dealing with, make sure you've got some designs you're working on up your sleeve so you can get some feedback. or some questions that you want to ask them about, about something. Make sure you get the most from every meeting. If you're talking to the Tesco's buyer, I mean, gosh, what a lot of experience they'll have to share. Make sure you're able to, have some questions that you want to ask them. And indeed, and this happened, and I know Jackie wrote about it in PG Buzz. Quite often we have, fairly small publishers meet these big accounts and end up with a licensing deal or something because the buyer really wants them. They don't want the commitment of brokerage, or they're not at the level to scale up, but actually the exposure to their brand through a licensing deal could be a real win-win. So be open to everything and just really look at the buyers list, and Danielle will send the final buyer list out in plenty of time, and just think, well, what would you want to get out of each meeting? The other thing I would say is do make sure you follow up with buyers. Sarah made the point, and I'll reiterate, after the Dragons, I mean, I'd send them all a card, whether you met them or not, with a personal note, either great to meet you, or really sorry I didn't get to meet you, I was hoping to because and just start a dialogue, because you've got a shared experience with them already. So even if you didn't actually manage to nab them at a coffee break or meet them there, you've already got a slightly open door, so do use it. During the buying, between the buying, when you finished your Dragons dating, there'll be another coffee break. So again, time to regroup, catch your breath, and have a biscuit, and then you'll swap. So if you've been doing the dating, you'll go into the panel room. If you've been in the panel room, you'll then do the dating. So that's how the afternoon works. I think I'm just trying to think. Oh, performer was the other thing Sarah said, which was very important. I'd really think about that if you're supplying somebody for the first time. And a performer is where you send the invoice and ask for payment before you dispatch the stock, which gives you time to take up references and some people do it, not everyone does. Personally, that's what I always used to do. And then the final thing is just enter the Henrys. It's free. And as Sarah said, it's a really good opportunity for you to get out there. And, who knows, you might win. But even if you don't, you're in front of all those buyers. So on that note, I was going to hand over to Jackie to pick up anything I'd missed, please.
Well, I think you pretty much covered it all there, Amanda, which is great. But I just want to, I mean, I've seen there's some very experienced faces there with Joe and Clara. I've done this before, and Jeff, an experienced face, but never done Dragons. One thing that I think always shocks people is the speed of change in Dragons physically. So you're sitting there in your semicircle, and then we don't have much time. That's the fun of it, but it is a bit bonkers. So you're sitting there with your fellow publishers and have cards ready. So be ready, because when the buyers come to you, they want to see what you've got, and they're having to make a decision quickly to think, yes, I'd like you to come and pitch to me. So be ready. Don't have your head down or not got your cards out. So just be ready, and feel free to change those cards every time. Maybe you've got some that you want to just see what the reaction is going to be, but be ready to pick them all up, have them there. And then when the buyers have picked you, you've then got to quickly go with them, because you don't want to waste time. So have something portable, as Sarah said. Either have a box it's easy for you to flick through, or a basket. But the last thing you want is to have to set up an office when you get to do your pitching. You want to sit down, introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and then get going. And you don't want to be fannying around. And then what also people don't like is they are just in the spiel, and then we have to move over. We have to change. You will hear this. And then that's the end of the madness for you. You've got, as Amanda said, you've then got 10 minutes to chat about how that was, and then it'll go again. We'll be there. There'll be people there. Myself, Jim, some of the other council members will be there in between. You can ask questions, and then we'll also tell you the type of the group that you're going to be seeing next. It's really good fun. It's great. but the first one is always a bit mad. But you get into it. The next two are like a breeze, and you're just in it, and you go, I want to do more, I want to do more. But it's a really great thing. We introduced it years ago, and it's been brilliant ever since we've launched it. And I love it that we've got a combination now of more established publishers as well as brand new publishers, because everyone gets into it. People are people first before you're a publisher, and that goes for a retailer, that goes for a trade supplier like Tony, that goes for publishers, and that's what's great. It's just fun. It's great, and as Amanda said, business comes out of it, and it may well be, as Sarah said, we've got PG Live soon after Dragons. People may have done a dating at the Dragons, and then they check up on them at PG Live, and orders are placed. We've mentioned the Henrys, and I think a lot of you here have already entered the Henrys, but I just want to reiterate a little bit about that they are free to enter. They're organised by us at Max Publishing, Progressive Greetings. Entry is a two-stage. First one is online. It's completely free. Lots of awards programs charge now, and I can see why, because it is a lot of work, but we've always been of the view that we want it to be open to everybody. So it's going to goes live in March. You've got from March until towards the end of May. Please, please, please don't leave it until the last week and then ask if there's an extension, because there isn't. You've got more time than any other awards events to enter, and it's free and it's easy. So please do that. And then what happens is we then get over 100 buyers looking on there. Again, this is your chance to reinforce what you've talked to people about at Dragons and raise your profile. And then even if you don't get through to the shortlist, all is not wasted, because those buyers like Sarah, it takes them ages. They're looking for new suppliers. So please do enter it. Anyway, this isn't about the Henrys, but I thought I'd just reiterate that. Right, back to Karen, isn't it?
Yes.
Karen, sorry. Do you want me to just answer that question from Joe before you start? Is that all right? Because that was me, Joe. I should have explained this. To bring with you is 3 card samples for each of the 18 goodie bags. So that's really important. So you've got 3 cards to put in each of the buyer's bags. And actually, you might want to put different cards in the Tesco's bags to those that you might want to put in Sarah's bag, or postmarks, or, so think about the samples that you want. Obviously, you want to put a business card or a way of contacting you with those samples. Some people tie them up in ribbon or wrap them in tissue paper, but 3 samples with envelopes, as Sarah said, into each of the 18 goodie bags. Then you will need a box of cards, or however you're going to present your cards to the buyers during the dating. So that's obviously something different and something that you keep with you on the day. Again, you'll want more business cards or slips, with your details on them. You, as I say, you may well want a catalogue or something that you might want to share or show. So those are the key things to bring with you. Has that answered your question, Joe? Sorry, I should have explained that properly.
The bags will be laid out with the name of the retailer, so you're going to know who's going to be picking up that bag. They're like a big bag for life from Sainsbury's or Tesco, wherever we get them.
Better get some Tesco's ones, haven't we?
So you put them in there. Now, some people do put the name of the buyer on there. So we will be able to share that, but sometimes it's not until the last minute, is it, Danielle, that the buyers' names are there, but some people do that.
Yeah, and I will share all the buyers' names in plenty of time with everyone.
Right, is that me now?
Oh, one last thing. I'm so sorry. Sorry. We've got quite a few people that have booked for a double date slot.
Oh, yeah.
Just to reinforce that you have to go. You are considered one person, really. So if you are double dating, only one of you hold up your cards. Otherwise, it confuses the buyers. And then you go together. You go and sit together.
Thank you. Yes, that's important. Sorry, go on, Karen.
Right. Okay, so I recognise a lot of faces as well. So if you don't know me, I'm Karen from Paper Salad Publishing. My business is going into its 21st year. This weekend, I'll be attending the 20th Spring Fair. And I worked out just quickly before, I've spent 3/4 of a year in the NEC in 21 years. So, I'm current president of the Greeting Card Association, and this year I'm going to be leading the panel. I consider the panel just as important as the speed dating because the amount of information that is shared from very, very seasoned professionals. The council take great care in choosing people to talk. Every year we look at the subjects that we feel that haven't been addressed for a while and we try and change it up. This year we've got 4 speakers with a wealth of experience. Some of them have only had the business for a short time, but they've still been in the business for quite a long time. Again, over 100 years of experience between these 4 people within the greeting card industry. So I do believe that you're always learning something. I learn something all the time. I'm always interested listening to other people, how they run the business. Everybody runs it differently. Publisher stories are always great because you're hearing how people get started and no 2 stories are the same. So this year we have Yvette from Hay Cards. I think she's been going for about 6 years, although not full time, but she came from a company called Santoro. So a lot of experience in the industry, and a partner is a graphic designer and again, worked in the industry for a long time. So a lot of experience, and they're going to be sharing their story on how they built their business. So again, that's someone that's just a newbie, really. I mean, you think that 6 years is a long time. It's not in our industry. I still feel like a newbie because there's people being here for 40, 50 years. So, and we're always learning. So they're going to be talking about how they got started and how they found the industry and the pitfalls. And we all have pitfalls and all the positive stories, all the negative stories. Next, we've got Perlina from Paper Rose. She's an expert in export. That should be her title, actually. Expert. She's got, again, export. She knows every single country in all over the world. So she's like really interested if you want to export. She's also got a lot of information on licensing as well because she licenses to a lot of different countries. So if there's any questions on that, that'd be amazing too. And then Ian Bradley, an agent. Everybody loves to hear an agent speak. They're very thin on the ground, although I have heard just recently that there's some newbies entering the industry, so that'd be good. He's actually our agent, and he's been our agent for the last 15 years. He covers the whole of the Midlands. He's got a lot of very good companies on board. He's just a typical agent. He'll tell you about how the bag works, how you've got to get in the bag and then in which order you come out and how it's hard. You've got to have the right amount of cards. He'll explain all of the commission and everything. So that would be fantastic because to get an agent, it's quite hard to get agents to come and talk. So that'd be great. And then the final one is Emma Young from Paperlink. I think, again, if I'm right, Jackie will correct me. I think she came from Hallmark, did she? Emma?
So I think she's been with Paperlink for absolutely donkey's years.
Has she?
She
Right,
started,
okay.
I think.
I heard she'd come from Hallmark, but
all right.
many years ago.
Many.
Again, she always comes, she's usually dating, actually. So this is, I think they're joined up to, it doesn't matter how long you've been going, you can come to the Dragons. I think we came about 4 years ago. It doesn't matter, it can be newbies, it can be established companies. You're getting in front of the buyers. If this had been around 21 years ago when we'd have started our business, it would have been amazing. It's a fantastic experience, and it's an opportunity to get in front of these buyers. It must be unique. There's no other industry, I think, that share buyers and help each other like our industry. I don't know of any, so that's fantastic. So come along, enjoy the panel, ask questions. We'll all be around to help if anybody wants to ask us questions afterwards anyway. So that's what will be happening. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, Danielle, yeah.
Thank you, Karen. That was brilliant. And now we're going to hand over to Tony Lorriman from Loxley's. And Loxley's are kindly sponsoring Dragon Speed Dating this year. And Tony's going to talk about what Loxley's can offer you to help you prepare for the day. So if I can hand over to you, Tony.
Thanks, Danielle. So as Daniel said, I'm Tony Lorriman, Managing Director of Loxley's. We are a specialist greeting card printer. We've been trading for 171 years, and we've been printing cards for 45 years. So a lot of experience within our business from a greeting card production point of view. We print cards both digitally and litho for a wide range of publishers and designers. This is the 3rd consecutive year that we've sponsored the Dragon Speed Dating event. And in previous years, we've helped a number of designers and publishers prepare for the big day by producing and printing their samples, be it new designs or existing designs. So our digital printing process is ideal for small quantity production. So we've got no minimum order quantity. You can order what you want and what you need. We can print on a wide range of boards, all FSC certified, just to pick up on Sarah's point about the importance of FSC. The print quality nowadays on digital is really good. It's on a par with litho print, and a lot of cards that you see out there in the shops will have been produced digitally. As well as producing, we can help and advise on all aspects of greeting card production and product development. So if you're not exactly sure on what you want or finishes or boards, etc., we can help with that. We've got lots of experience around greetings cards. And we can also help you set up your files so that they're print ready. That's quite a big thing. Your files need to be correct to ensure that your cards are as you need. So we can help and advise around that. And we can also, again, picking up on the point that Sarah made about FSC, we can also help with the FSC logo onto the page 4 of your card. So yeah, I mean that's really what our involvement in Dragons is. We can help support, advise around production, but specifically around samples that you need for the day. So really, if anybody needs any help or support around that, then please get in touch. We'd be pleased to help you and be part of your experience. Really, that's it, Danielle. Really,
That's brilliant. Thank you, Tony. So now we're going to open up for a Q&A. So feel free to raise your hand or pop your questions in the chat box, and we'll answer as many as we can. So has anybody got any questions?
Hello, I'm Jo.
Hi.
Hiya. It was really interesting when Sarah was talking. She mentioned like there's a specific kind of thing that she wants or she doesn't want. Will we get anything helpful, like knowing if any of the buyers are looking for anything in particular? Like, are they looking for a milestone age range beforehand, or in terms of kind of tailoring what we put in their boxes or what we show them? Do we get any kind of information if they're looking for anything in particular at the time?
Sarah, do you want to answer that one? Are you looking for something in particular, or
Not just Sarah, but just kind of generally?
I think people are mainly just looking at your whole offering. They want to see what you've got. I mean, there will be people that will have particular things in mind, but I don't know that would be particularly helpful to you. I think you need to present yourself as who you are, what you do, and your just everything, your whole offering. So we get a really good overview about where you are, because that's the most interesting thing for me, is to see you as a person and to see your card ranges and where those ranges have come from.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
I think also, Jo, I mean, don't be afraid to ask the buyers. If you're in a meeting having a chat, is saying, is there an area of your everyday range you're looking at buying for soon? Because I could send you some samples. So don't be afraid to say that.
There was a retailer who put a shout out over Instagram who was like, I'm really lacking these, and these. And it was just so helpful to kind of go, oh, well, I've got that and I can help you with that. I'm sure she was inundated, but I was just like, why don't people do that more often? Like, if you're looking for something specific and I've got it, it would be so helpful to to know. So no, I just didn't know if that was an
Yeah.
option, but that's good to know. Thank you, Sarah.
Oh, just to add there, if I may, Danielle, we also really do encourage the buyers to do their homework before they come. You will all, they will have a list of all the publishers who are going with a link through from the directory to your website. So you may well be contacting in advance of the meeting if the event, if you know any of the dragons want anything specific. Sorry, oh Ebony, I can see you've got your hand up.
Could I just add to
Go on,
that
Karen.
that I think they're actually looking for your style and your look, and they will expand it from there. So they're looking for difference in just style, I think, at the first, and then they will start to look at the more details of what you've got further down the line. So I just concentrate on your brand and your style straight away, and don't get too carried away with trying to think that you've got to do ages and things and seasonal. I just concentrate on your style.
You don't need to be everything to everybody.
No.
Ebony?
Hi, my question is really just when we might get the full list of the dragons that we are pitching to, because just basically the point before about like preparing, like last year I literally put the same 3 cards in every pack, and I realized afterwards that like I definitely should have, you know, done my research on who I was pitching towards, and you know, I would have tailored them specifically for their shops to make them more relevant. So obviously the more time that we have to prepare that, the better, really.
Hopefully within the next week or so we'll have a full list of dragons. So I'll share it as soon as we've got everybody confirmed. But I can tell you now that we have had Fortnum and Mason confirmed this week.
Wow.
And so there's Scribbler, Tesco, Fortnum and Mason, Postmark, Stationery Supplies, Love One, Set Leicester. Who else is off the top of my head?
Objectables.
Oliver Bonas, if I didn't say that one. WH Smith, which is now TG Jones, and UOE, which has 44 stores. So we're well on track. They're all confirmed, and just a couple more that we're speaking to.
Brilliant. Thank you.
UOE is just about to go for a rebrand, I think, Danielle. So it may well be a different name next week.
Okay. Felicity?
Hello, thank you. Yeah, so I've not done this before, so I'm just trying to get my head around it. So just to confirm, from speaking with like people that have done dragons in the past, they've all recommended boxes for cards, but you guys would prefer no boxes and it to go into maybe a thick bag or just a bag of some sort. Is that correct? So boxes are a no-no?
I think there might be a bit of confusion, Felicity, in terms of what you're putting the cards in when you present to the dragons.
Yeah.
A box would probably work well, but the samples that you put into the dragons goodie bags need to be just 3 cards, basically. You know, they don't put boxes in there.
Okay, that's helpful.
So they're 2 separate things. I don't know, Sarah, if you wanted to. I think most people do have boxes, do they, when they're presenting?
I think so, yeah. Boxes are, I find them really easy because you can pass it over, put it on your knee, because there's not going to be a table. You'll be sat directly opposite the buyer, so there's nothing to put anything on. So like Jackie said, don't set up your office, definitely don't. But if it's a box you can put over, I can put it on my knee and I can flick through your cards there and then. That's brilliant, that's perfect. But when you package your things for the bag, the samples that we're going to take home with us, do make sure that your samples are secured together. There's nothing worse than finding random cards in there that have come adrift. If you can imagine, I'm carrying that Sainsbury's carrier bag with 72 samples in on the train back to Manchester. So by the time they get to my living room floor, they'll be bashed about a little bit. So make sure that they are quite firmly together, so I know that those cards belong to you.
Okay, that's helpful.
It does look pretty. If you can wrap them in tissue or in a bag, and then with a little ribbon or something, that always looks really lovely. And you know,
and it's lovely to open that as well. You know, if I'm opening a bag that's got a ribbon on it, it's exciting for me. So
And I just want to avoid sort of damage in transit, 'cause there's nothing worse than bent corners of cards. That yeah. So I just want to keep it nice. Okay, that's really helpful. Thank you, guys.
And we've got a question from Gina in the chats asking, what ranges would you recommend? Is it okay to bring seasonal events that have recently passed, e.g. Valentine's Day or Christmas?
I'd say so, yeah. I'd like to, if you're showing me the whole picture of what you do, it's interesting for me to know that you are addressing major occasions and you're not just doing kind of general cards. If you don't do general occasions, that doesn't matter as well, but it is nice to see what you've done and what you are doing and what you're planning.
Any more questions?
I've got a question, Danielle. I know the answer, but I'd like you to give it. What happens at the end of the day, Danielle? Do we all go home, or can we all carry on networking somewhere?
We're trying to find somewhere to network as Skinny Kitchen is now closed down. So I'm in contact with another venue, and hopefully by the end of the week, I can let you all know that we can go for a networking drink afterwards with the buyers as well. But I will send all that through on a confirmation email once I've got it.
Hi, I've got one question, if that's okay. Morning, everyone. You mentioned the back of the cards having codes. All different retailers have different codes, different price points for Spring Fair and for this. Should we just put a dummy code on there to expand barcodes to explain that we can do that, or is it fine to leave it blank and just explain?
Shall I answer that? And Karen, Sarah, you may want to come in. I mean, I would just concentrate on using the back of the card to tell your story. And there's information on the blog that Sarah wrote about this and in the members library about the sort of information you may want to put on the back of the card. I wouldn't worry too much about barcodes. You know, people will, if people need barcodes, they'll tell you. And, you know, I wouldn't put a dummy barcode on. If you haven't got them, don't worry, but you know, you can immediately, people who come onto your people you talk to, you're going to have a conversation with, they're going to tell you if they need them. As I say, I think the important thing is that the back of the card gives a bit more story about your company, your brand, the range. Karen, do you want to add to that?
I think we didn't put alpha. Are you talking about alpha codes or barcodes?
So we're currently going through GS1 at the moment to put all the barcode for all the codes
barcode
anyway.
Is your price then, and that stays the same throughout any retailer, and alpha codes stay the same as well. Even though a lot of retailers have different prices, that shouldn't really affect your alpha code. It stays the same. It's just that they negotiate. It's just a marker for them to know what the retail price is normally. And what they can work with. So I won't worry too much about that, like the others say, but it would stay the same. It doesn't, you know, the barcodes on the back of our cards and the alpha codes don't differ to whichever retailer in, they say the same.
I think Sarah was talking about a specific code for that card for reordering purposes.
Yeah, code for your cards, that is your identifier.
Yes. Can I have the one with the yellow flower on? Actually, if that's your flower range, call it flower 1.
Yes.
Flower.
So the SKUs, we've got SKUs for each card as well.
That's
so
right.
fine.
Yeah.
Sorry if I confused you.
And Felicity's asking, will all retailers be actively looking to buy, or are some retailers coming just to experience the day? Who wants to take this one?
Shall I take that one? I mean, I think the people will have different buying calendars through the year, and you know, not all of them will be wanting to buy on the day. Some of them will. Most of them probably won't. They'll go away and think about it. The key is the goodie bags. And Lucy at Oliver Bonus said to me at Top Drawer, she loved the bag. She said it sat under my desk and it kept me in new card supplies for 4 months, because every time I had a gap in the range, I dipped into it and found someone else. So you may well find that you're getting an order quite a few, quite a while down the road. Some buyers, as I say, will be looking to order specific things. Most will be coming just to look for new supplies. I think that's and see what's new out there. Sarah, is that right? Is that?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I've watched card publishers for up to 2 years before I bought for them. So sometimes it really is a long game, or sometimes I'm just waiting for that gap, for that opportunity to buy from that publisher. So the goodie bags are really, really important. I wouldn't ever buy on the day of dragons. I'll always go home and consider it and decide where I'm going, where my gaps are, and what I want. So I think, yeah, I think that's fair.
I always contact the buyers afterwards, asking for, comment from the day and also whether what caught their eye. And that's always really good because that can and then we'll use that on PG Buzz and in maybe in Progressive Greetings. And that always gives you an extra bit of fill up because all the other buyers then will be, if Sarah mentioned, oh, I thought Remail's completely new concept, wonderful. The others go, oh, I missed that one. Oh, who was that? So we try to kind of extend the tail as much as we can to help you. And also, it's great if someone picks you. God, fantastic.
I think if I can just add to that, on the day, feel really free to ask your buyers if they'll take a quick selfie with you or if you can take a photograph of them. And then use that on your social media afterwards because as that links in with what Jackie says, it gives it more longevity. People will be looking at your socials and they'll say, oh, you were at Dragons. Oh, you spoke to Tesco's. Oh, you spoke to Oliver Bonus, or you spoke to Sarah or whatever, and people will look at that and then they'll be really interested. So definitely use it as a social media opportunity, and then tag in the people that you've spoken to.
That's a really good point. I mean, the PR that you can gain from around this event is another key aspect of it. As Ebony says, is the networking. It's so good talking to other publishers. So do get the most from that as well.
Antonio?
I heard Remail and thought I would jump in. So this will be kind of my first time really talking to kind of larger potential buyers, and I'm quite new to this in terms of we only really launched last July. We only had 21 designs until 2 weeks ago. Now we have 78, and my range is going to change a lot. So I'm kind of using this as an opportunity just to get feedback as opposed to trying to get actual buyers, and trying to pitch the Remail concept, which is reusable cards, as opposed to trying to pitch this is our range or this is what it's going to be, because it's very open to change and react to whatever feedback we get. How would you approach trying to, pitch a concept as opposed to trying to pitch like this is what our range is?
Do you want me to answer it? Or
Yeah,
I would say one of the things that people expect is that they're going to get an order, and I think getting feedback is one of the most important things. So if you've got something that you want to get in front of someone and get feedback, it's the perfect place. You've got to take on the feedback as well, whether it be positive or negative, and try and work with that as well. So you've got to, but certainly to get feedback, I think it's really important. And I think a lot of, I think last year, there was a lot of people got quite upset that they had some negative feedback, but to me, you get negative feedback, we still do. It's essential that you get that feedback to be able to move forward and know what's right and what's not wrong. So getting feedback for me is essential.
Yeah, and I just add to that. Absolutely. And I just add to that, Antonio, that actually, the key, I think, in terms of presenting is have your sound bites clearly ready. What are the key USPs of your product, and have your script in your head and your product to demonstrate what you're saying, because you'll only have a few minutes to get it over to the buyer. And what they'll be thinking, as Sarah said earlier, is how are my customers going to understand that? So be ready to answer that question to them, and your presentation to them should do that. The product needs to be, it needs to be clear what it is and what the product is to consumers, because that's what the buyers will be looking for.
Yeah, it's really important to remember what we've all just said about the feedback. I've been a dragon a few times now, and sometimes when I've said something to a publisher, they've got really naughty with me in the actual meeting because they haven't agreed with what I've said. And that's when I said earlier about how passions run high because it's your business. But we're only trying to help you. We're only trying to give you our opinion about things. We're not there to make it difficult for you. We're not there to give you a bad experience. We really want to help you, and that's why one of the reasons that I love being a dragon is because I want to see new cards and I want to help people on their journey. I had a lot of help when I first set up my business from local retailers. A lot of people supported me, and it's nice to be able to support other people and to give that back. So yeah, please take that feedback on board and please try not to take it to heart.
Have we got any more questions? Okay. So if we can end it there, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope that you will feel prepared and excited for Dragon Speed Dating. As everyone said, it's a fantastic event. This recording will be available shortly, so you can watch it back for any tips that you missed, and you can write those down. I'll also reshare Sarah's blog and the one on barcodes and our print ready blog in an email afterwards, so you can really read those and prepare for the day. And if you have any questions between now and the event, just drop me an email because I'm always happy to help. And thank you again, and I hope you all have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks very much.